grew up in California.
Yes, I did.
A lot going on in California.
It's the leading indicator.
They told him he was too brown to...
Well, it's a race-obsessed party. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, ironically. No, that does not surprise me. The whole bet with the Democratic Party in California is that changing demographics win it for them. And they're right to some extent. Immigration has turned it from one of the most reliably Republican states to the most reliably Democratic state. The question now is about the economy. Can you have a state that is basically Latin American in its economic structure? A huge pool of poor people, a small group of rich people, no middle class. That's what California is trying. Its leaders are basically self-consciously pushing policies that result in that. Half of all Californians asked this week said they'd prefer to leave the state. A lot of them already have. What happens then when there's no sort of normal middle class, people making $95,000 left with kids? Like, that's actually where California is going. I don't know what happens.
It's a case where being number one means really you're number two. A new study ranks California dead last of all the states in quality of life, making it tops at being on the bottom. States were ranked on everything from education to opportunity, from infrastructure to crime. But California scored low for one simple reason. It's impossible to live there unless you are super rich or homeless. Then come one, come all. But just ask any U-Haul dealer. Renting a truck to go from San Francisco to Dallas will cost $3,200. The return trip, only $1,100. That's a 180% surcharge. And it's based on a truck shortage in California because so many people are leaving one left-wing city to a more pragmatic, affordable one. So maybe Californians leaving California, they're the real dreamers. But anyone who's been to LA knows the ugly truth. It's turned into a post-apocalyptic wasteland with 55,000 homeless in that county alone. Massive encampments have enveloped Skid Row under overpasses and streets nearby. SF isn't much better, spending millions last year on cleaning up human waste left on its streets by the homeless. It's odd. We're living in a time where Hollywood embraces dystopian fiction. They spend millions trying to recreate the look of life after nuclear war. I could save them some money. Just grab an iPhone and drive downtown. I'm sad that I have to leave California. I'm from there, Jesse.
So you have income inequality, you have pollution and segregated neighborhoods. What have Republicans done to this? Oh, wait, no, it's run by Democrats. All the things Democrats say they're against, they're just stewing in their own state. Yeah. I've been to Skid Row. It was the scariest moment of my life. I've been to every single neighborhood, south side of Chicago. I've been to Detroit, everything. I did not leave the car because they said it was so unsafe. That was a bunch of white guys with expensive cameras walked outside into these encampments. It's honestly like Armageddon. It's post-apocalyptic. You have zombies on drugs wandering around. There's needles everywhere. There's no law enforcement. It's lawless. It's chaos. It's dirty. It's infested with disease. It's the scariest place on earth. You'd think it was in a third world country. It's right next to City Hall. Yes. And they tolerate it.
California. Because of immigration, it's no longer a red state. It's now a blue state, and it's suffering the consequences. The longer it remains blue, the longer those consequences and the more severe they get. What George Soros and his friends have figured out, that the more poverty you can create, the more people will bite for the socialist dream. California continues to move left because people find it harder and harder to live. They need more and more help. But what happens is, much like a dog chasing its tail, they vote for more Democrats, get more poverty. They vote for more Democrats. All of a sudden, there's massive homeless. None of the problems are being addressed. And yet, just last week, California announced that they're going to ban sodas on kids' menus. Is that really a necessary law? Can you believe that? No. But the way the Democrats take more and more power is to keep you upset about the trivial and the inert. No one pays attention to the feces in the streets if they're worried about the government banning their child from having a soda at a restaurant. It's an amazing thing, and we see people from Mexico coming here, becoming citizens, and instead of voting for what they came here for in the first place, which is prosperity, they vote for welfare. It's why the Democrats need mass immigration. They want to turn the whole country blue. Soros wants to turn the whole country blue. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a quick look at a video I did about 2 weeks ago on Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. The first rule is to take over health care, which is what the Democrats have been doing for the last 20 years. It wasn't until the Obama administration that they were finally able to get Obamacare or the ACA, Affordable Health Care Act, passed. The second rule is increase poverty as much as possible. Look at what happened during the Obama years as these principles were being put in place. Economic growth stagnated, the number of people dropped out of the workforce was the largest in the history of the United States. Welfare rolls expanded beyond belief. The amount of people receiving food stamps exploded. The number of people that were being approved for disability just blew up. Everything that related to poverty, those numbers started skyrocketing. The third rule, increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way they're able to increase taxes and this will produce more poverty. The whole idea behind what the Democrats are offering America is everyone to be equal. But what they won't tell you is that everyone will be equally poor. Number 4 is remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. They want to take your guns. What have the Democrats been trying to do forever? Take guns away from the people. Every incremental step that they can make to slowly remove those guns, they have done it. Rule number 5, welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives, food, housing, income. Welfare delivers an incredibly low standard of living, but once you're on welfare, are you going to vote for a Republican who will cut it, or are you going to vote for a Democrat who might give you an increase? The Democrats will endlessly tell you they're going to raise your standard of living. Well, the problem is there's no money to do that. So all they really end off doing is raising taxes and creating more poverty, and then there's less money to go around. Number 6, take control of what people read and listen to. How long has it been since we had a media that didn't blast the left-wing bias? All of them are socialists, and as a result they view all news through the eyes of a socialist, and that's what they deliver us. They've taken over education. That's the reason our children, conservative children, come out of college completely brainwashed that socialism is the only way to go. Number 7, religion. Remove the belief in God from the government and schools. That has been accomplished. And what have we done? We've taken morality out of the schools, and then we wonder why our children are immoral. Number 8, class warfare. Divide the people into wealthy and poor. This will cause more discontent, and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. As you can see, the Democrats are basically being quite honest or dishonest, depending on how you want to look at it, as to what they want for America. They want Alinsky's Rules for Radicals to be implemented in every single state, so that if you're in one state, you can't move to another state to get away from it. Poverty and wealth. They pretend that they're trying to stop the two and bring them together. In reality is they want control of the wealth. They want, as in all socialist communities, that the wealthy to be in the government and everyone else be poor. Soros better watch out. He thinks that he's going for this great socialist utopia, but in the end he may find a lot of his businesses and a lot of his assets being captured by the very people he put in power, the socialists. It's pretty ironic. Anyway, this is a lesson we all need to learn. Mass immigration is being done to create blue states, to ensure that the Alinsky Rules for Radicals will be implemented nationwide. I started this off with a long expose on California for good reason. That's where we see it starting, the big chasm between the wealthy and the poor. Of course that state goes into the national numbers. So the wealthy Silicon Valley few against the hundreds and thousands of people that are ending off on the street pooping on the corner. You pick your America. Do you want what's happening in California for your city and state? If you do, then go press that Democratic lever. If you want prosperity, the kind of prosperity that Trump's trying to bring to America, and a walk away from the democratic socialist republic of the United States, then stick with Trump and vote MAGA. Damn, let's support that man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy you came and visited us today. I hope you'll take the time to share this video. I also hope you'll like and subscribe before you leave. With that said, I'll see you in the next video.